All things considered, Tesla is a new company. For many, that's a scary proposition when shopping for a new car, but many Tesla owners know just how great and reliable these cars can be, on top of just plain fun. In any case, the goal for the future is to get as many Teslas and EVs in general on the road, so I thought it would be fun to look at the top Tesla autofill questions to see what the average person might be wondering when it comes to Teslas and EVs. I'll be answering these top questions in this video, so let's get into it, and a special thanks to Fantic for sponsoring a portion of this video. Tesla just had their best quarter ever, delivering a total of 466,140 vehicles worldwide. The most impressive thing is that these cars are fully electric cars, and Tesla is beating all other US automakers in this space by a long shot. Soon, other automakers should be scaling up their EVs, but Tesla is going to remain the top player for a while, and they may even become a household name for an electric car, similar to what it's like when someone talks about Kleenex. This is a brand of tissue, but is such a household name that it has become interchangeable for many people. We could see similar happen with Tesla, and that could definitely be at play with these autofill questions. In any case, let's start off with the autofill for the words, "Can Tesla?" As you probably know, the autofill is filling out this phrase with the most common questions Google gets asked on this subject. First up is, can Tesla jumpstart a car? Interestingly, even though these cars are fully electric, and one might think they absolutely include this feature, they don't. According to Tesla's owner's manual, quote, Model 3 cannot be used to jumpstart another vehicle. Doing so can result in damage. Interestingly, you can do the opposite though, and Tesla details how to jumpstart the 12-volt battery for their cars in their owner's manual. They've also moved to a new lithium-ion low-voltage battery in new cars, and this can be jumpstarted as well as detailed in the manual. Just don't plan to jumpstart it with another Tesla. Also, having to jumpstart the low-voltage battery on a Tesla is very rare. In any case, I always had success with a jumpstart rechargeable battery. Next up is, can Tesla drive itself? The answer to this question gets complicated, and this question likely gets asked because of confusion of Tesla's naming and Elon's promises for self-driving. Tesla sells a package called full self-driving that you can buy on your car, yet the answer to this question would essentially be no or kind of. If by drive itself, people are asking if they can kick back while the car takes the wheel, this wouldn't be the case. Tesla still requires rigorous monitoring, and at the end of the day, if the car is going to mess something up in one of these systems, it's your responsibility as the driver to take over and prevent an accident. However, Teslas do somewhat drive themselves. Included with every single Tesla by default is their basic autopilot system. This system will drive itself, speed up and slow down based on traffic, and keep you centered in your lane on well-marked roads. It can do so up to 85 miles per hour on the freeway. So if you plan to stay in the same lane for a while, the car can drive for you for very long distances, and then you need to prove that you're paying attention by nudging the steering wheel. Once it's time to change lanes though, you'll need to do so manually unless you pay for one of their software upgrades. Enhanced Autopilot includes Navigate on Autopilot, Auto Lane Change, Auto Park, Summon, and Smart Summon. In regards to the car driving itself, Navigate on Autopilot somewhat does this, changing lanes for you, navigating freeways, taking the correct exit, and more. However, it's bound to the freeway. If you then upgrade to Tesla's full self-driving package though, at a whopping $15,000 or $200 a month, depending on where you live, you can get Tesla's FSD Beta. This system is meant to drive in almost any scenario and does better and worse than many may expect. It does everything and is pretty remarkable to observe, but definitely feels like a student driver, or sometimes worse. At the same time as well, this system uses the interior camera in a Tesla to monitor your eyes and ensure that you are actively paying attention, since this system in particular relies on human intervention when something goes wrong. So the answer here might be yes and no. Yes, a Tesla can basically drive itself, but no, it can't do it well enough to where you aren't responsible for driving. Elon continues to promise that that's coming though, and Tesla is legitimately improving here each year, but he has made these promises each year since 2017, so it's hard to believe any timelines at this point. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Fantic. I've recommended it before, but the Fantic X8 Apex portable tire inflator is the best insurance against a tire with low air when you're on the road, and it's the winner of the 2022 Red Dot and IF Design Award. It has no problem inflating a new tire if you have to change a flat and delivering a maximum pressure of 150 pounds per square inch, which means it inflates way faster than most devices on the market. It also only weighs 1.87 pounds and comes with 5 smart inflation modes that let you set it it and forget it. It'll automatically stop when it's at full pressure. Then the V8 make car vacuum, weighing about as much as a water bottle, provides a strong suction of 30 air watts and 12 kilopascals to easily pick up stubborn sand, dust, and debris. It also comes with 5 practical cleaning accessories to easily clean hard-to-reach corners or carpet and pick up pet hair from fabric surfaces. Fantic is offering their most popular auto accessories, including this tire inflator and car vacuum, at the lowest price they've ever been during Amazon Prime Day. But with my link in the description below, you can get the discount before Prime Day even starts. Just click the links in the description, select the Amazon coupon, and use my discount code RyanV8Mate or RyanX8Apex. Next up is, can Tesla go in carpool lane? First, obviously, if you have a passenger, you'll be good to go depending on the rules for that particular freeway, but this is referring to carpool lane privileges as a solo driver in a Tesla. The answer depends on your area, but for California, yes. California has a whole list of all electric and electrified vehicles that qualify, and all Tesla vehicles are on this list. You just need to apply for a decal, pay a small fee, have the stickers on your car, and then you're good to go. New York has a similar program, and so do many other states. If you buy a Tesla or EV, it's definitely worth looking into for your particular state. One problem though is that EVs are becoming so popular that these programs may end in the near future as they're clogging up the carpool lane. Next up, can Teslas park themselves? Quick answer is no, but people may be searching this because it's a feature Tesla has hinted at for a while, dubbing it reverse summon. Essentially, the car drops you off and finds a spot for you. This could arrive in the future, but I'm not expecting it anytime soon. Now let's finish out the last few can Tesla questions. Can Teslas be stolen? Technically, yes, but it's very, very hard to do so, and typically requires the perfect scenario of a relay with multiple people getting within 2 inches of your car. Then a simple pin to drive, which Tesla has as an option, can prevent theft altogether. This would mean that even if a thief had your key, they'd still need to know your code in order to drive away. If stolen, there's then GPS tracking and Sentry mode recording what's happening, so it's typically very easy to recover the car. Can Tesla charge at Electrify America? Yes, but you'll need a CCS to Tesla adapter, at least until Electrify America switches over to Tesla's connector. Can Tesla charge in rain? Yes, with 0 issues. Can Tesla go through car wash? While not recommended for the best way to protect your paint, they can, just like any other car, and have a special car wash mode to do so. Now let's move on to are Tesla and see what common questions Google gets asked here. First is, are Tesla charging stations free? The quick answer here is no. They vary depending on your area, and at their most expensive run you about 50 cents per kilowatt hour. That roughly translates to costing you about $40 to travel 300 miles in a Model Y. However, rates can be far cheaper, sometimes getting you that same charge for $20. At certain periods, Tesla has also offered free supercharging for a certain amount of time as an incentive, so that would be one case where it's free, but it's never free across the board. Plus, the majority of charging for many owners will be done at home. Next is, are Teslas reliable? Overall, the answer here would be yes, but it depends where you look and what is important to you. Tesla has a reputation for poor build quality and many fit and finish issues. These have gotten way better in recent years and months, but still can happen, contributing in large part to Consumer Reports ranking Tesla very low in 2021 with reliability. Quote, Tesla, with 4 models in the survey, is unchanged at second from last. While Tesla's Model 3 has average reliability, the Model Y still has body hardware issues with the tailgate and door alignment, paint defects, and multiple other problems. The Model X and Model S both have body hardware, climate system, and in-car electronics problems. Other agencies, however, have shown the Model 3 being one of the most reliable mid-size vehicles out there. Consumer Reports also shows Tesla as one of the most reliable EV brands. One other consideration is that many of these reliability surveys relate to number of recalls, and many of Tesla's huge recalls are fixed with a simple software update. Another thing to consider is that Tesla tops the list of most satisfied customers for the whole auto industry. So it's often worth looking deeper than what Consumer Reports ranks, especially with such a new product. Are Teslas worth it? This will depend on your particular situation. For some, if they can't charge at home, this will mean that a Tesla isn't worth it since they'll have to seek out chargers and it might cost you a lot of time. For others who can charge at home and were already planning to buy a car around the price of a Tesla, they could absolutely be worth it and end up saving you quite a bit of money charging instead of buying gas. Especially with federal incentives and new lower pricing, Teslas are worth it to many people and deliver many worthwhile features. Next up, are Teslas expensive? Again, this question will depend on your situation. For some, Teslas are out of the question when it comes to starting price, and hopefully Tesla will be addressing this in the future with a $25,000 EV. For others, when considering incentives, fuel savings, lack of maintenance, and more, they prove to not be as expensive because the costs of running the car are much less. Tesla's cheapest car starts at $40,240 and qualifies for a $7,500 federal tax credit. The Model Y starts at $47,740 and similarly qualifies for a $7,500 tax credit. This is often cheaper than many expect since Tesla has shipped expensive cars for a while now, and both cars fall under the average price of a vehicle sold in the US, which is now $48,000. Next is a good one. Are Teslas safe? Not only are Teslas safe, but they're actually some of the safest cars one can buy. First, to prevent an accident, Tesla has built-in safety features similar to many brands. These include automatic emergency braking, forward collision warning, blind spot collision warning, and lane departure avoidance, all of which improve over time with over-the-air updates as Tesla learns from new data. These help prevent an accident, but when an accident does occur, they're some of the safest cars to be in. All 4 Tesla vehicles have 5-star ratings in every category from NHTSA, and the Model Y recently got the highest score ever in a European test. This has been proven multiple times, and the Model Y in particular continues to be the safest car one can buy. Regarding fire safety, Tesla has built-in systems for this, and then from 2012 to 2020 in the US, Tesla vehicles were approximately 10 times less likely to catch fire per mile driven compared to average gas vehicles. To finish out this particular prompt, let's answer 2 more questions. First, are Teslas all-wheel drive? Yes, in the US, Tesla only sells one car that isn't all-wheel drive, the base Model 3 rear-wheel drive. It's still plenty powerful, but every other trim of the Model 3, and then every trim of the Model Y, S, and X comes in all-wheel drive. The Plaid S and X also takes it to another level with 3 motors. Then, are Teslas fast? Absolutely. All of them are fast and quick by their electric nature, having instant torque. This makes them incredibly quick and zippy, so that even their slowest car gets a 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds and top speed of 140 miles per hour. The Performance Model 3 then goes up to 3.1 seconds 0 to 60 and a top speed of 162 miles per hour. The Model Y is slightly slower than this in each trim, and then the Model S Plaid is the quickest accelerating car of any type that you can buy, with a 0 to 60 as low as 1.99 seconds. Its stomach dropping will beat literally every other car on the road and can go up to 200 miles per hour with the right track package. Our next prompt is, do Teslas need oil changes? The answer is no, you never need to get an oil change in a Tesla. And Tesla says, quote, unlike gasoline cars, Tesla vehicles require no traditional oil changes, fuel filters, spark plug replacements, or emission checks. Even brake pad replacements are rare because regenerative braking returns energy to the battery, significantly reducing wear on the brakes. This is pretty convenient as an owner. Do Teslas have spare tires? The answer here is also no. Tesla does not include a spare tire or a default location to put a spare tire in their cars. This is for 2 main reasons. First being that flat tires are less common, causing spares to end up in the junkyard about 85% of the time, according to Tire Rack. For this reason, and the fact that a spare takes up space and weight in a car, which would reduce efficiency, Tesla does not include them. Instead, you will need to use Tesla roadside assistance if a flat occurs, or purchase your own spare to keep on hand like the modern spare. Do Teslas have catalytic converters? Nope, there is no need for this part in an electric vehicle, so they do not have them, and thus they cannot be stolen. Do Teslas have cameras inside? Yes, they do. There is one single camera in the interior of a Tesla, along with around 7 cameras on the exterior. The exterior cameras make autopilot, self-driving, and safety features happen, and record for Sentry Mode and dash cam systems. These cameras can also be streamed to the Tesla app if you want to check in on your car, but the interior camera has 2 main uses. The first is for you to check in on the car from the Tesla app, and people like to do this especially to check on a pet when in dog mode. Then Tesla uses this for driver monitoring when using certain autopilot and FSD features. As for who has access to this camera, quote, by default, images and video from the camera do not leave the vehicle itself and are not transmitted to anyone, including Tesla, unless you enable data sharing. If you enable data sharing and a safety critical event occurs, such as a collision, Model Y shares short cabin camera video clips with Tesla to help us develop future safety enhancements. Cabin camera does not perform facial recognition or any other method of identity verification. These options are under Controls, Software, Data Sharing, and can be changed at any time. Do Teslas have engines? No, and that's part of why their front hoods open up for storage space. Do Teslas come with a charger? Funny enough, the answer here is actually no. Even though you have to charge these cars, much like modern cell phone packages, Tesla does not include a charger. And this is a change they made around a year ago, likely in part since customers choose many different charging options. When you configure a Tesla though, you can choose between their wall connector, which is the fastest hardwired home option for $475, or their mobile connector for $230. Do Teslas use gas? No, some people think they may still include some sort of hybrid situation, but Teslas are fully electric with no other way to run. Just the same as with gas, if you run out of charge, you'll need to be towed to a charger. Do Teslas need maintenance? No. Well, yes, of course they do, but much less than many other cars. The US Department of Energy sums this up well, saying, "The battery, motor, and associated electronics require little to no regular maintenance. There are fewer fluids, such as engine oil, that require regular maintenance. Brake wear is significantly reduced due to regenerative braking. There are far fewer moving parts relative to a conventional fuel engine. In my experience, I've mainly refilled windshield wiper fluid, changed tires, rotated tires, and had a few things fixed under warranty at Tesla's service." To finish out, let's do a couple general EV questions. Can electric vehicles tow? Yes, they can, just like any car, and some do it better. The Model Y can be upgraded to tow, and this will be capable of towing 3,500 pounds. Then others, like the F-150 Lightning, can tow up to 10,000 pounds. Similarly, the Rivian R1T can tow up to 11,000 pounds. As is the case with gas vehicles, though, efficiency is significantly reduced, so of course you'll have to stop more frequently to charge when towing, adding time to your trip. Last for today are two questions that seem very commonly misunderstood. Can electric vehicles explode, and can they catch fire? The first answer is obviously yes. This can happen in any car. So more likely the question is actually, are they more prone to catching fire or exploding than other cars? The answer here is a big no. Quote, "Although EV fires receive a lot of attention in the media, research shows they are no more likely to catch fire than ICE cars." A study by the US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in 2017 concluded that the propensity and severity of fires and explosions from the accidental ignition of flammable electrolytic solvents used in lithium-ion battery systems are anticipated to be somewhat comparable to, or perhaps slightly less than those for gasoline or diesel vehicular fuels. Tesla is the best example here because they've shipped more EVs than anyone else in the US, and they regularly report on their fire safety. Most recently, in 2021, Tesla said from 2012 to 2021, there has been approximately one Tesla vehicle fire for every 210 million miles traveled. By comparison, data from the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, and US Department of Transportation shows that in the United States, there is a vehicle fire for every 19 million miles traveled. They also note that in order to accurately compare to NFPA data, Tesla's data set includes instances of vehicle fires caused by structure fires, arson, and other things unrelated to the vehicle, which account for some of the Tesla vehicle fires over this time period. If you were curious about these questions, I hope this video was helpful for you. As a seasoned EV or Tesla owner as well, it's interesting to look into the questions many are asking and what could be people's main fears or worries when going electric. In the meantime, if you want to see the best Tesla accessories to buy for a Model 3 or Y, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.